Hi, welcomes everyone for the lecture 12 of lateral load distribution as per torsional provision of subject bend and seismic analysis. If a building or a floor plan is having a torsional irregularities, then how the lateral loads is to be distributed among the different lateral load resisting elements. So the outline of this lecture is the what are the steps that are involved while distributing the lateral loads as per torsion provision. So the first step is the locate the center of mass and center of rigidity of that floor plan. Then after calculate the design eccentricity, which is given in clause number 7.9.2 of IS 1893/2002. Then after find out the lateral forces involved due to translation, after which lateral force in the walls are find out due to torsional movement. Then total lateral force in walls are find out, which is summation of lateral force due to translation plus lateral force due to torsional movement. So in this step we are summing both the forces, then it is total lateral force in the walls. Then after which combining the all total lateral forces and choosing the maximum value. So these are the steps which are involved while calculating the lateral force distribution as per torsion provision. In the step 1 we have to locate the center of mass and center of rigidity, that I have already discussed in the previous lecture how the center of mass and center of rigidity of a floor plan is to be calculated. And this is the example which I have taken earlier in a previous lecture, that center of mass of that floor plan and center of rigidity is to be find out. And center of mass, as you can see in this floor plan, that it is having a symmetrical distribution of dead load, so that the center of mass will be located at the center of this floor plan. So its length in the x direction is 16 meter and in the y direction is 8 meters. So center of mass will be lie at a center of which is of in the x direction 8.0 meter and in the y direction 4.0 meter. And as you can see in this picture, there are four walls of wall A, B, C and D of stiffness K1, K2, K3 and K4 simultaneously, and having these walls are of same length, same cross-sectional area and of same material, so that their stiffness is also same, because stiffness is defined by load per unit displacement or deflection. So stiffness of that member is given by area into elasticity divided by its length. So if all the properties of wall and its cross-sectional areas are same, then the stiffness of all the walls are same. So K1 equal to K2 equal to K3 equal to K4, which is of K. All the stiffnesses are same, and we already find out the center of rigidity of this floor plan is 6.0 and 4.0. After locating the center of mass and center of rigidity, we have to calculate the design eccentricity, which is as per clause 7.9.2 of IS 1893/2002, which is given by two equations, which is ED equal to 1.5 times of ESI plus 0.05 times of BI, and in a second equation ED is given by ESI minus 0.05 times of BI, whereas ESI is a static eccentricity at floor I perpendicular direction of force, and BI is the floor plan dimension of floor I perpendicular direction of force. So this can be clear from this picture. If this floor plan is subjected to earthquake force in x direction and y direction also, then to find out or to calculate the design eccentricity in x direction, we have to choose the ESI value in the y direction, because when the forces are acting in a x direction, then if the eccentricity in a y direction, then it will create a torsional moment in this way in a anti-clockwise direction. So while earthquake force is acting in x direction, then eccentricity ESI will be choosing in y direction, and obviously the BI is also a flow dimension in perpendicular direction of force, so BI will be chosen in a y direction also. So if the forces is acting in a x direction, then Bi value is 8 meter from this picture, and eccentricity from here. So the eccentricity in a y direction is 0 at here, because center of rigidity is also lying at 4.0 meter and center of mass is also lying at 4.0 meter. So eccentricity in a y direction is 0. So for this, the value of ESI is 0 and Bi value is 8 meter. And if the earthquake force is lying in a y direction, then the eccentricity will be taken in a x direction, because if the earthquake force is acting in a y direction, then how it will create a moment or torsional moment in this. So we have to choose the eccentricity in a x direction, then it will create torsional moment in a clockwise manner. So for this particular floor plan, the eccentricity in x direction is taken as 2.0, because center of mass is locating at 8.0 meter and center of rigidity is locating at 6.0 meter in a x direction. So the eccentricity in a x direction is 2.0 meter, which is of from this point to this point distance. So if the earthquake force will be chosen in a y direction, then the eccentricity is 2 meter for this particular floor plan, and Bi value is 16 meter, which is perpendicular to this earthquake force. So by doing this way, the design eccentricity will be calculated. Now step number 3, finding out the lateral forces involved due to translation. When the earthquake force is considered in a x direction, then the given load or given seismic load is to be distributed in a different lateral load resisting member which are situated in that particular direction according to their relative stiffness. So as you can see in this picture, that in a x direction there are two walls are situated, which is wall C and wall D, and in the y direction 2 walls are situated, which is A and B. So when we are considering the earthquake force in a x direction, then this force will be distributed to the wall C and wall D in relative wall C and wall D as per according to their relative stiffness. If the value of Kc and Kd, the stiffness of wall C and wall D are same, then it is taken as K, and FCT, the lateral force due to translation in wall, is given by Kc divided by Kc plus Kd into F. This Kc divided by Kc plus Kd is a relative stiffness of that particular wall. So if both the values are same, then the total seismic force is of 50% of that load is to be taken by wall C, and 50% of load is taken by wall D in a x direction. Similarly, when we are going in a y direction, then a 50% of that total load in a y direction will be taken by wall A, and 50% of the total load will be taken by a wall B. So by doing this, we can find out the lateral force involved due to translation. In a step number 4, we have to find out the lateral force involved due to torsional movement, and which is given by FIR equal to Ki into Ri divided by summation of I equal to, if here are 4 walls, so I am considering ABC, I equal to ABC d Ki Ri square, and which is multiplied by F into Ed. F is the total design force and Ed is the design eccentricity. Ki is the stiffness of that particular lateral load resisting elements, and Ri is the distance of that particular shear poles from the center of rigidity. So if you are talking about in terms of wall A, then it is taken as FAR equal to KARI divided by KARA square plus KBRB square plus KCRC square plus KDRD square into F into ED. Similarly for wall B, wall C and wall D. So by doing this, we can find out the lateral force involved due to torsional movement, and this can be seen at here how the RA, RB, RC and RD will be calculated. So RA, RB, RC and RD are the distance of wall from the center of rigidity. So for wall A, the distance is taken as 6.0, because this is 6.0 meter distant from the center of rigidity point. And if you are talking in terms of coordinate system, then this will be taken as positive मतलब means upward of this point will be taken as positive and downward of this point will be taken as negative. Similarly, in this side will be taken as positive and in this side will be taken as negative. So RA value will be minus 6.0. For wall B, this is the value which is 16 minus 6 is equal to 10 meter in a positive way. 10 meter in a positive. So RB will be equal to 10 meter positive. RC value will be taken as plus 4.0 meter and RD value is minus 4.0. So by doing this, the value of RA, RB, RC and RD will be finding out. So these are the values of RA, RB, RC and RD. Then after doing this, we have to sum the lateral force due to translation and lateral force due to torsional. So by adding all the forces due to translation and due to torsional, we can find out the total lateral force in a wall due to seismic load. So FA will be in a wall A, FA will be equal to maximum of FAT plus FAR. Similarly, FB will be equal to maximum of FBT plus FBR. Why I am taking maximum at here? If the eccentricity in a x direction is, suppose if the eccentricity in x direction is 0, then the value of design eccentricity will be, one is positive value and one is negative value. So design eccentricity will be plus minus something value. So the value of FAR will be finding out at here is plus minus something value, and that value has to be added or that has to be subtracted. So by choosing from which the value, addition value is maximum or negative value is maximum, so maximum value will be chosen from here. So for wall A, wall B, wall C and wall D, all the values have to be find out, and these are the total lateral force in the wall due to seismic load. This is to be calculated in a x direction as well as in a y direction. In step number 7, we have to combine all the total lateral force in wall due to seismic load in both the direction and choosing the maximum value. So for wall A, wall B, wall C and wall D are mentioned in this column, and forces in a column which is FA, FB, FC and FD. In x direction, FAX, which is of force due to translation plus force due to torsional movement. In a x direction, it's mentioning in this column completely for wall A, wall B, wall C and wall D. And in a y direction also is mentioning in this column FA, FB, FC and FD, and choosing the maximum value, because we have to design the wall for a maximum value. So if either this is in a x direction or this is in a y direction, so whatever is the maximum value which we have to choose that particular value, and that value will be a total lateral force in a wall due to seismic load. So by doing this, all the maximum value have to be chosen. Note one more thing you have to remember at here, the no negative value to be considered, which is mentioned in clause number 7.9.1 of IS 1893/2002. Negative total lateral force in a walls due to seismic load is not to be chosen. So if any value is negative, then the value of force due to translation is to be chosen at that particular wall if negative value comes. So these are some steps which have to be considered while lateral load distributed amongst the different lateral loads resisting elements as per the torsional provision. And in the next lecture, I'll take an example and solving that example, and so that it will be clear to you that how the lateral load is to be distributed amongst the different lateral load resisting elements as per torsional provision if the building or a floor plan is having a torsional irregularities. So thank you for watching this.